All right. So today I've been working on exploring the arc of consciousness and the flow of cinema, the history of cinema, connected to the discovery that the Twilight Zone had some integral structures in it. By doing that, I discovered that it filled a hole in the evolution of the moving image. Um, there seems to be a pattern where every 10 years, starting at the height of the silent film era, there's been every 10 years a kind of impactful film with integral structures in it, except for I had a gap um, from the early 40s to the late 60s, and then with the discovery with the Twilight Zone, that brought us, which started in 59 and went through 64, all of a sudden now there's only one gap in the 10-year cycle, which would be the 40s and 50s. So I started to investigate, see if this is true, if there is a film in there somewhere in the late 40s or early 50s that is one of these films, because it's an interesting kind of progression. So I was exploring that today. So that was what I'm doing today. And also right now, this is my first test of not walking and talking with my uh, log here or the video journaling, seeing if I stutter more. I did stutter a little bit there, but I don't know. I think I've been thinking about it, and I had some practices with a Aikido teacher back at Esalen some years ago, Robert Nadeau, who was also a stutterer. And he had some exercises that he shared with me that he kind of explored and created to work with the energy and stuttering. And one of those exercises was walking and talking. Um, and I think other people have talked about that stuttering. Stutterers sometimes they could sing clearer, or they could talk better when they're walking. So it's like if you're doing something outside of just the normal structure, if you have something on top of it, like walking or singing, you're doing something else. Um, it may do something with the brain and let you talk more. Right now, um, I'm just rolling with it and experimenting and seeing if, without much conscious effort, I will be stuttering here. So, one of the pluses is that I am speaking into a lens. Or is that a plus? I don't know. We'll see. Because often as a stutterer, we kind of learn at a very early age, especially if your stuttering began when you were young, to kind of be super sensitive to people's expressions, to see if they're turned off by your stuttering, or or they're judging you, or if they're going to laugh, because believe it or not, a lot of kids and adults laugh. Um, I mean, as I've grown up and stuff, I've realized that many people laugh out of nervousness, or ignorance, So, but so I don't know. This is interesting. If just being alone in a room, talking into the camera, if that affects how I speak and the stuttering. So this is interesting too. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on today. I'm also working on the idea of oneness with my lived inquiry in the spiritual dimension. Still working on, the other day I was working on light, and that's connected to wholeness, to holiness, and then the oneness idea that we are all one. I I have the phrase that I really like, that I don't know if it came from my own head or somewhere out there. So um, that the phrase is, "There's only one of us here, and we're all it. Or in other words, each of us is a cell inside of a giant brain that is our higher self, or that is God. Um, so this, and and in Judaism, the Messiah is called Mashiach. And actually, if you look in Kabbalah, Mashiach is actually not a person, but a structure of consciousness. So perhaps when the Messiah comes, it's this awareness of oneness, literally being able to be in that consciousness of the one. And if we look at it that way and read the words of Jesus, perhaps he was speaking from the oneness state. And if you look at it that way, that's very interesting. So I'm playing with that idea too. So I'm doing a little bit of film, I'm doing a little bit of um, self-healing experimentation with the stuttering, and I'm playing with that idea of oneness. I do have a lot of different projects I do. I don't know why, but it's happened. It's unfolded that way. I have all these projects that I'm driven to do. I don't know why, whatever. I have the Divine Guidance Project, which started with my own seeking of guidance in my life, and I did my dissertation on it, and I still kind of work with it. And in the film end, I started with the transpersonal cinematography, the transpersonal cinema project, which was back when I went back to school for psychology and explored consciousness and transpersonal psychology, and I started playing with applying all the theories and practices I was learning to film, and playing with how does consciousness, the consciousness of the creator, affect what we're shooting, and also how can we capture different states of consciousness and all that. That kind of unfolded into the integral cinema project when I kind of got into the integral theory through Ken Wilber, and went back to other integral theorists like Gene Gebser and Sri Aurobindo. And so that was that extension, So I've got all those kind of projects. So I went out of focus. Oh my God. I think the image went out of focus when my brain went out of focus. I don't know, just playing. Anyways, so I may be rambling a little bit, but let's see how this works here in this indoor experience, not walking, and trying to talk into the camera, so eye contact. It's hard because when I look down, I'm seeing myself, so it's like, maybe if I move my screen up, I look at it, maybe it's closer. No, probably not. Anyways, so I'm not sure if I'll go out and walk and do another log that way, but this is a good experiment here. So that's where I'm at in this moment today. All right. Bye. Peace out.